Scott Swim graduated from Ball State University 2 years ago, and you're already living the dream of many TCOM graduates. So why don't you talk a little bit about what it is that you do that makes you so different than most two-year graduates?
I do sports graphics for many different companies on a freelance level, primarily ESPN, IMS Productions, which is owned by the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and also the Speed Network, mostly racing and other sports.
And how did you start this company? Were you working on it before you graduated?
While I was here at Ball State, I did a few of our basketball and football games, other sports, and did graphics here at WIPB and around campus, and started working for the Pacers from there, doing just in-house, lower-level stuff. After that, I started getting calls from the track, and then went from there to get ESPN and contacts elsewhere.
What's different about sports graphics than news graphics or any other kind?
News graphics are more set, and you don't really have much change. Something late breaking might happen where you might have to make a few graphics. With sports, you could have hundreds of graphics that are ready to go. Say a car crashes on the 4th lap. How many times has he crashed on the 4th lap in the last 27 races? Those kinds of things.
So do you work mostly from home, or do you have to travel a lot?
Travel. I travel sometimes upwards of 2 to 3 times a week. Other weeks I travel once, but generally every week I fly somewhere.
Oh, you fly,
yeah.
Mostly. I was going to ask you next, actually, what does your average week consist of? What do you do? During
the summer, it could be anywhere from 4 to all 7 days on the road. Depending on what races are going on, I do the IRL, the IndyCar series, and then dirt cars for ESPN, which are on tracks anywhere in the country where you could fly in to, say, Pittsburgh and have to drive 4 hours to get to the track. And if there's back-to-back races, I'll be gone all 7 days. So anywhere between 4 to 8 flights to get where you're going and get back home.
Wow. So how do you get started? You just start making phone calls?
Yeah, pretty much. You'll hear somebody's name and you'll check on, maybe I can talk to this person. I know they need. You'll hear a lot of, well, we need graphics, but we don't know of anyone. So it's a lot of cold calls, emails, and a lot of times you won't get responses, and a lot of times you won't know anything till a few days before the event.
Did you have one experience that you felt like was your big break, was your first big client?
When I got the entire series for the IndyCar series, I got called to go down to Miami. And I had no idea what I'd be doing graphics-wise. I didn't know how many races I'd be doing. I ended up doing all 4 races that happened that weekend, and then being told, just stay in Florida for the race next week. Don't even go home.
Wow.
So that was great.
How great. Yeah. What advice do you have for other aspiring producers?
When producing, always try to get ahead, work ahead, and even though there are days where you aren't getting paid, sometimes you can get ahead of the game by doing your research on your own and just always looking for a different angle that someone else might not be.
How do you feel that your experiences at Ball State prepared you for what you're doing now?
Ball State did so much for me. Just being here and getting to use state-of-the-art equipment puts you at a different level than other people out there already, because some people would never get a chance to work with this kind of equipment. And when you've been working with it for 3 years, you're ready to go into the field.
Well, what's different about studying production in sports and graphics and actually having to go out there and do it on your own?
The stress level. When you're studying it, when you're here, you can make mistakes. When you're out in the field, you need to be 100% every time. And when you're doing, especially sports, like when you're producing graphics, like they call that the associate producer position, you'll produce tape, some stuff, but you're in charge of making sure all the graphics fit. You have to be prepared for anything to happen. You can't miss a single angle.
Well, and one last question. What does the future hold for Swim Man Productions?
Just working all the time. The more work we can get, the better. So just seeing what we can find and traveling around.
Well, thank you so much for having the time to be with us.
Thank you very much.